Between heaven and earth, life is involved. In winter, on the high Qinghai Tibet plateau, wolves are scouting for prey. This pack has 7 members. Food on the plateau is scarce now. Hunting coordination between the wolves is close. They can sense prey from far away. The lake is frozen. Tibetan wild asses need to break the ice with their hooves to drink its water, which makes slaking their thirst a slow process. While the asses are gathering around the lake, they're unaware of the approaching danger. The wolves' tactics are ruthless. They will separate off an ass from the herd before running it down. There are always young, old or sick asses that cannot keep up. This one succumbs to these merciless killers. Conditions on the Qinghai Tibet plateau are harsh and death is omnipresent. As in the whole of China, the region's ecology has seen real improvements over the past decade, and species that were nearly extinct have been making a strong comeback. Their populations are expanding to refill their evolutionary niche. "200 million years ago, the plateau was actually underneath an ocean. It was pushed up by the Earth's Indian geological plate, which moved north to collide with the Eurasian plate. The ocean receded and the Himalayan range formed, which because of its vast glaciers is sometimes called the Earth's third pole. When one creature dies, the organic matter that makes up its body becomes a source of sustenance for others. This Tibetan brown bear has encountered a rare opportunity to replenish its energy. During its 6 months of hibernation, it has lost half of its body weight. Energy replenishment is vital to it now. In the highlands, no energy goes to waste. On the northern edge of the plateau, the Altan Mountains no man's land, where one of the highest elevated deserts in the world is located, covers an area of over 2,000 square kilometers and has a maximum altitude of 4,700 meters. It's a bleak, uninhabited zone. Even in a desolate wasteland like this, however, life can make inroads. This is the only species of wild yak in the world that lives in the desert. An adult weighs as much as 800 kilograms and needs to drink a lot of water to survive. The secret of finding water is found in the desert's name, Kumakuli Desert, which means lake in the desert. For thousands of years, melting snow water from the Kunlun Mountains to the west has flowed underneath the sand. In a land depression, it oozes out to form a river, moistening the parched land with an oasis. The fertile oasis, rich in water and lush grass, is the perfect place for the yaks to feed. The season when new shoots of grass are sprouting is when yaks give birth to their calves. The newborn yak is still on its knees. Helpless and exposed to the frigid plateau wind and snow, its parents guard it until it can stand up. A wolf pack is prowling the area. If the oasis is a good place for herbivores to feed, it's also a good place for wolves to hunt. A fully grown yak is too big for wolves to take on. They won't try unless food is extremely scarce. The newly born yak will be tender meat if the wolves can get at it. Its parents will not let the wolves come any closer. The wolves launch an attack. Even when yak calves are old enough to run, if they fall behind the herd, they will be a target for predators. The yaks are safer when they reach the desert. Its landscape offers the wolves less places to hide, and running on sand, their speed is reduced. For wild yaks, the desert is a natural refuge. An old yak has grown tired and is unable to follow its companions into the desert. As they recede into the distance, dusk is approaching. During the night, the wolves kill the weak old yak. At dawn, only its half-consumed carcass remains. This lone wolf is from another pack. It's hungry and spots a meal. The vultures are no match for the wolf, which leaves with a piece of the carcass. Instead of enjoying its catch alone, the wolf brings the food back to its family. They welcome it in a very characteristic way. In this pure and untouched wilderness, fights for survival play out every day. Each of the many species that make up its ecosystem are interdependent agents. As part of a dynamic, self-regulating whole, their roles and populations will expand or contract, maintaining an overall equilibrium. The bearded vulture is a highland scavenger and expert glider. Riding on air currents, it can spiral upwards and fly over the highest mountains without flapping its wings. Its eyesight is over 10 times sharper than humans. The adult bearded vulture has no predators. But it has problems when it comes to dealing with magpies. They are tenacious thieves. The vulture likes to hide its food in rock crevices, but the magpie has been lying in ambush for a long time. Although vultures are classified as raptors, this one does not live up to the name. Rough and shaggy looking, with a taste for blood and a razor-sharp beak, the bearded vulture is actually very shy. It will observe from a distance when predators like wolves make a kill, and only approach when they're long gone and far away. Befitting its ecological niche, it's an expert at handling leftovers. The adult bearded vulture has a powerful digestive system. A special enzyme produced in its stomach helps it digest bones. For juveniles of the species, however, whole bones are hard to deal with. This young vulture has learnt how to fly, but still cannot feed on its own. Its meal has to be pre-processed. The adult vulture drops larger bones from a height that is enough to smash them to pieces on rocks below. Lunch is ready. Bone marrow is highly nutritious and makes up a large proportion of the diet of juvenile vultures. More is needed, however, to satisfy its appetite. A short while later, the adult bearded vulture resumes its never-ending search for food. This is the Sangjianyuan area of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, the source of the Yellow River, Yangtze River and Langtung River. Its ecosystem holds the key to the health of these rivers. They're important water resources for not only China, but also the whole of Asia. June is high summer on the plateau, with more rainfall feeding lush vegetation. To help each other survive on the plateau, two small animals have established a special bond. One is the picker, a highly skilled burrower. The picker escapes. Its neighbor, meanwhile, is rewarded with a place to live. The white-rumped snowfinch nests in abandoned burrows, where it raises its young. This symbiosis of birds and pickers, helping each other, is recorded in ancient Chinese books. The plateau is a place that can see weather changes amounting to 4 seasons in a single day. A sudden snowfall brings winter back to this summer day. A mother snow leopard and her child live on top of the mountain. In the 3 years since its birth, the mother has taught the young leopard all the life skills it needs. Now it's time for it to live independently. But becoming independent will still involve a long and tough journey. The young leopard is reluctant to leave. Finally, it embarks on a journey to find its own territory. For a single snow leopard, this will cover an area of about 500 square kilometers. It will travel a long way before settling down. This ridge has a commanding view, and there are herds of blue sheep moving in the distance. A good place for a leopard, in other words. But a scent left on the rocks tells the young leopard that another has already claimed it. As expected, a tough male lives here. A very visible wound shows he has in the past fought fiercely to defend his territory. The young leopard has to move on and find somewhere else. A few days later, it's already more than 100 kilometers away from its original home. It's hungry and tired because it hasn't eaten or slept properly since leaving. A wild feline like the snow leopard can go for a month without feeding. It drinks some water from a river to replenish itself and moves on again. The higher up a leopard is, the more information it can take in on the world around. A herd of blue sheep is in sight. Can it launch a successful attack? The blue sheep, it turns out, are too far away. Snow leopards can sprint to catch prey for short intervals, but they're not efficient distance runners. So the young leopard eventually gives up. Its journey to independence is still in progress. It has yet to create a world of its own. Blue sheep live in high mountain areas at altitudes between 2,000 and 6,000 meters. Sharing the landscape with predators, they often take refuge on cliffs. To survive in such a dangerous environment, the sheep have evolved long and thin yet powerful limbs with hard hooves on their feet. Fleet-footed and agile, they have superb mountaineering skills. On near vertical slopes, they have no problem steadying themselves. With toes spread apart and stuck firmly into rock crevices, they can quickly leap up a cliff by using just a little momentum. Summer is the breeding season of blue sheep. During this time, males must be separated from the flock. They're irritable and reckless, and sometimes cause pregnant females to abort during chasing and fighting. A ewe is also behaving abnormally. Alone, she heads into the open. Her bulging abdomen shows she's in late-term pregnancy. She is, in fact, preparing for the birth of her child. Concealed from the view of most predators, she finds an alcove in the cliff face. Although less exposed, it's less than ideal as a delivery place. Its ledge is encircled by cliffs on 3 sides, which blocks airflow, hindering ventilation. The pregnant blue sheep is extremely sensitive to temperature and humidity, so she needs to find an open and well-ventilated place to lower her body temperature. But that would mean a higher risk of being spotted by predators. The gestation period of blue sheep is about 6 months. Normally, only 1 kid is delivered. The mother-to-be chooses to give birth alone on this cliff. Lucky so far, her baby is born safely. But the danger is far from over. The difference between life and death on the plateau can be minutes or even seconds. The newborn kid must learn to stand and walk as soon as possible, which will take another 2 hours. This is long enough for the scent of birth to be captured by a brown bear, which has an She eats her own placenta, which not only removes the smell, but also helps restore her strength. The newborn must master mountaineering skills within 10 days of its birth. The cliffs are its training ground. Lacking in confidence, it looks constantly to its mother for help. In survival skills training, she is the best teacher. Ten days later, the mother and her kid are back with the flock on its journey into the highlands. Life on the plateau is fragile, yet in the case of blue sheep, tough enough to survive on cliffs that would defeat other species. Amid the melting of ice and snow, migratory birds are now returning to the plateau. Ruddy shelducks soon appear, wading and swimming on the flowing river. Two months later, 2 eggs are laid. The eggs must be incubated for a month, during which time both parents have a role to play. While the male is out foraging, the female sits on the eggs to keep them warm. Both of the expecting parents are on high alert for potential threats. The female leaves her nest from time to time, so her eggs will not become too warm from non-stop incubation. To prevent them from rolling away, she carefully adjusts their position before leaving. In June, calm weather on the wetland suddenly changes. Heavy rain brings the temperature down. Prolonged low temperatures will affect the eggs' hatching speed. Too much rain could even destroy the nest. Luckily, the weather improves and the sky clears. The chick is too weak to stand immediately after hatching. Soon, however, it will lift itself up. Five months later, a new life journey will begin from here. On the high Qinghai Tibet Plateau, the cycle of birth, life and death here never ends, across the repeating seasons.